Captured is basically a war film set in the Vietnam War that follows a war photographer who has an unknown connection to a Viet Cong soldier. The story of Captured came to me when I was just doing a little bit of research around the Vietnam War. I came across this person who I had read a lot about in the past, a famous war photographer by the name of Kathleen Leroy. And like her story alone is such an amazing story. They should really make a feature film out of that. I loosely based my main character and an incident that happened to her around that, and manufactured the story of Captured. That's where my inspiration came from. So it's not like a real direct sort of representation of what happened there, but it's a very loose sort of take on that. And whichever way you look at it, the story, is pretty much a story of just two people meeting from opposite sides of the battlefield, and there's one little moment that they don't realize that they share, and it sort of all interconnects towards the end. One of the main things I wanted to make sure of when making this film was to make it as authentic as possible. So that's where all my research came through, and all trying to find the right props and gear to make it look the right, the real deal. I did a lot of research beforehand, getting onto Google and just downloading photographs from the Vietnam War. So looking at what the jungle terrain looked like, and even going to movies that I knew were on the Vietnam War and sort of matching that up and putting them, literally getting into Photoshop and just creating an A4 board and just throwing all these different photographs all around. When it came to, say, a male soldier, I'd put male soldier in the middle and I'd find as many pictures as I could of what they wore during that time, what their uniforms look like, headgear, weapons, and just printing them out and looking at them on a table and just thinking, okay, this is what sort of look I'm going for. And then I went out and tried to find where I could source costumes, source props, and source locations. And things like costumes, I was lucky enough to find a costume place in Brisbane that's run by Luke and Ian Sparke, and they're pretty much the guys you go to get all your military paraphernalia, right from the First World War through to modern day combat. Prop guns were probably the hardest thing, because here in Australia, replica guns are just so hard to attain, and real guns are hard to sort of come by as well. You got to have licenses, and there's very strict laws. But I did a bit of researching around, and I found a couple of places, I think in New South Wales and Victoria, that actually sold sort of toy guns that looked very similar to the prop guns that I needed in the film. We were also lucky enough to find someone who had a replica M16 rifle, which was the rifle of choice that the Americans used in the Vietnam War. The location of Captured was basically shot about an hour out of Brisbane, outside a little town called Corroy. We know a lady out there by the name of Annie Clark who lives on this ridge out in sort of the hills of Corroy. Within the ridge there was a lot of trees, and there was a little creek that went by, and we went down there to have a look, and it turned out to be a really, really good location to use, which was great. I think as an audience, when you watch Captured, I'm hoping that you'll feel emotions such as intrigue, a little bit of mystery, and a little bit of sadness towards the end, without giving too much away.